All right, real talk for 1 second. I woke up, I kept waking up in the middle of the night and I could smell the smoke rolling in from a fire down south. And I had my little shoulder devil talking to me. If you don't know what a shoulder devil is, this is a Emperor's New Groove thing. You know, when the shoulder devil appears on the Kronk and it's like, anyway, my little shoulder devil's like, you don't want to be breathing in all that smoke. You shouldn't go for a run. And your legs are sore from yesterday's 10 miles. You probably shouldn't run today. And those things were true, right? And I did something. I was like, yeah, I'll just shorten my run to 1 mile. Which is a perfectly fine thing to do, because one of the things in Atomic Habits book, which I highly recommend reading, is he has basically 4 rules for establishing a behavior pattern, a habit that you want. And then you have 4 rules for how to eliminate, which are just the inverse of the 4 to eliminate a habit that you don't want. And so, for example, I know I want to run in the morning, so the clothes that I set out from the night before are my running clothes. So that's the first thing that is there that I see. It's easy. So I make it really easy. My barrier of entry is easy. Also, there's like, essentially what he has in the book is like, anybody can do something for 2 minutes. So like, if you're trying to build a habit of working out, you can tell, like, go to the gym for 2 minutes. Anybody can go do something for 2 minutes. And you don't have to say any longer than that. Just set yourself 2 minutes. For me today, that was, I'm just going to run 1 mile. And then when you get out there, you realize, oh, I can go farther. You can start with that 2 minutes, certainly. Or I could start with the 1 mile, and I could have only run 1 mile today, and that would have been perfectly fine. But once I got out here, I'm like, I don't want to run only 1 mile. I want to run further. And so I am. So that's cool, right? Yeah, it is smoky out here, and that does suck, but it's not so bad that I can't come run. So there's that. And then I want to get philosophical for a second. So I was thinking, I was trying to think, well, what gives us like a full cup of like love, okay? And I imagine there is not a sound out here except wind and one bird. Okay, so imagine that your like love cup is like a cup. So how do you fill in this cup of love? And I was trying to think about this because I was carrying a lot of anger and bitterness and unforgiveness, and you kind of have to empty all that stuff out. But it's like, how do you got to replace it with something, right? Every time you got to replace it. If you want to get rid of something bad, you got to replace it with something good. It's not like you can just get rid of something bad so easily. It's like, what did I replace it with? Well, every morning that I wake up right now, I think, I am so grateful. I'm so grateful for all of my friends. I'm so grateful for where I live and that I have a place to sleep at night. I'm so grateful that I have my kid 50-50 custody. I get him for a whole week at a time. I'm so grateful about that. It brings me so much joy. And I was thinking, well, I'm feeling so joyful lately. I feel so happy and so joyful. And I think part of that is like, I'm just feeling so much gratitude for life in general and the things that I have. I don't feel like I need or want. I'm not in need or I'm not in want. And that makes me feel I can't even describe it, because that fills that cup, right? So that fills that cup of joy. So maybe a lot of love is a multitude of things, right? It's forgiveness. It is gratitude, which brings joy. And that gratitude and joy starts to fill that cup. And then the more, I am also convinced of one thing. It is not possible, I think, it's my own theory, to love anyone else any more than you love yourself. So imagine that it's like, I was talking yesterday to one of the guys at the men's retreat I'm at, and he was like, I'm really struggling to like love other people. I thought, that's interesting. But I theorize that if you find yourself not able to love someone else or love other people in general, that is probably just because you're not loving yourself. Because you can't give to someone else any more than you can give to yourself. You can't give to someone else any more than you have. And I thought, well, if that's the case, then maybe you're not forgiving even yourself, right? It's not forgiveness of other people is a separate thing. You also have to forgive yourself for stuff, because you can beat yourself up over stuff. I certainly have, easy to feel like a big failure with certain things in life or have regrets, but you got to forgive yourself for those things too, I think, to be able to love yourself. So you got to love yourself so that you can start loving other people. And then when you do, and you feel secure in who you are, and then I think you're able to pour more, like you can have a bigger heart for other people, for more people. The sunrise coming up over that hill. The other thing for me is just getting out on these runs every day that I can do it. I think you start to learn something about yourself. It gives you really a lot of time to contemplate. For me, for like learning to run these long distances has been a real exercise in patience, I guess, because I get really impatient. I have an ADHD brain. I gotta be doing stuff all the time. And you come out here and you just have to, like, you're out here for hours at a time, usually, and you can't help but start to think about this kind of stuff. And I just wanted to share it with you. So, yeah, just some fun thoughts for today's run. I'm gonna finish my run. I'm doing a 5K today. Not crazy. So I've got other activity plans today. So that's way better than 1 mile. And that's all I need. So I'm happy with that. I was talking with some of the guys yesterday, and we were talking about, well, how do you make, like, everyone, oh God, running is so hard and it hurts so much. Like, how do you get to a point where you love running? Incremental. Start out, just run for 2 minutes, and that's it. Just come back in. Make it so that it's enjoyable and fun. If you go out there and kill yourself on every run, you're not going to want to do it again. If I come out here and I kill myself every day, I'm like, oh my God, running is such a pain. It hurts so much. So start with that incremental stuff so that it's not like this massive pain. We don't have to CrossFit every day. Some people can do that, and maybe you can get, I think you'll get to the point where you can do that, but you don't start out that way. I think you got to start out with, give yourself a low barrier of entry, go run for 2 minutes. You don't even have to run for the full 2 minutes. There's this concept, especially in ultra running, called jeffing. It's started by a guy named Jeffrey, I can't remember his last name. And, you start out with basically, you run for 1 minute, walk for 1 minute. And then you get good at that, then you can run for 2 minutes and walk for 1 minute. And you get good at that, and then you can run for 3 minutes and then walk for 1 minute. And you keep doing this, right? So you get to the point where you can run a little bit longer. But also, I think he's like the guy who's completed the most marathons or something like that, or he was. And, he just found a lot of success in basically this method of like, walk, because the whole point of getting out here and doing these long runs is not to kill yourself. It is to run the distance. And if you want to run the distance, you learn how to preserve your energy and your stamina, and you move efficiently. And sometimes what that means is that, yeah, I'm running and I'm watching my heart rate in my zones, right? If I start hitting zone 4, I back off or walk to bring myself back into zone 2 and zone 3, because the majority of my runs I want in zone 2 and zone 3, because that's where our endurance actually builds up. It's not by coming out here and killing yourself. That's not where endurance is built. Endurance is built in zone 2, zone 3 runs, easy runs, they're called. And endurance is built in the recovery, actually. Not in coming out here and being nuts. So, anyway, I just thought I would share that with y'all. And This video was longer than I anticipated, but hope you enjoy it.